Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming.
Only chance Kenyans have to change this country because we are
Wajackoya the fifth, very nice.
Estimating the power of the unknown. My God who works with me knows the answers, and I'm the next president of this country.
always done what I've promised. For the last 62 years I've lived in this world. Whenever I promise you something, I'll do.
Youth washaamua kuwa Wajackoya the fifth. Mimi nishaamua Wajackoya the fifth, okay? 2022, this feature will be Wajackoya's.
And with the initial question, in terms of weed legalization, you seem to be speaking to the poor farmer, the ones who are struggling to make end-to-end, you know, sort of income. Is this true?
A whole bishop, who is a personal friend and a president of Malawi, a whole bishop, a Harvard scholar, recently legalized weed for purposes of hemp and industrialization, and ask Malawians to uproot all the tobacco stems. South Africa has legalized. Zimbabwe has legalized. Uganda is doing a pilot project of 165,000 hectares. Rwanda has legalized for export and medicinal. Morocco legalized. Holland, it was the first country to legalize.
Okay.
Israel, where God was born, legalized it. Canada recently made up the first commercial plane made out of hemp. I mean, what is all this? Recently, 2 days ago, people are caught with weed. And what happened is, the media, especially Citizen, came up and said that 1 kilogram was 1 million Kenya shillings. How did they know the price? Secondly, if you go to the New York Stock Exchange, 50 kgs, which is one sack, is 302 million US dollars. If you grow maize, one sack of maize is about 6,000. Beans is about 5,000. How deaf or daft can you be if you can grow something that can yield money to make the country pay off its debt and to make everyone happy?
That makes sense. So, but the question I was asking, if you're targeting some of these struggling households, perhaps the poor farmers, is because I was looking at Uganda and the stringent regulations around growing and supplying of weed for export, where individuals and companies seeking to grow and export marijuana for medical purposes are required to present a minimum capital of $5 million and a bank guarantee of 4 billion Ugandan shillings. So looking at the security and minimum levels of capital, how exactly will this be practical for a farmer who's already struggling to meet, you know, the basic needs in terms of his household? How will he then meet these stringent regulations? Because it can't be free for all. You definitely have to have regulations in place.
Uganda is a sovereign country.
Yeah.
President Yoweri Museveni is my friend. I wouldn't say anything against him. Whatever he decided to do in his country, I respect it. Kenya is a sovereign country. Kenyans will decide how to grow it, how to regulate it.
But there should be regulations in place, don't you?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely nothing can go without regulation. So we shall regulate, but let us first of all win the election.
So no stringent regulations, perhaps. That's what you're hinting
towards.
What
I'm trying to say is, do we have enough soil? Do we have enough climate? Are we in debt? Can we put regulations out there? Can we grow it? Can we pay off the Chinese? Can we be free from debt? That is priority number one to me, not how it's going to be drawn. And you can even see recently, when I got support from the former chairman of Jubilee, Mr. Murathe. Murathe came up and he said, what Professor Wajackoya is saying is making sense, because he was in South Africa the other day, and he saw what was happening there. And he even appealed to Raila Odinga to legalize weed. I came up and I told Murathe, stop there, don't be too sarcastic. You are a good man, you have said something good, Kenyans will love you for that, but it's my idea, don't steal it from me. So that you go and make up now regulations to bring in bigger multinational corporations and to bring in bigger politicians to make regulations so that they can scrutinize screw up the regulations to put the real Kenyan who is in real danger. So I will not even go that way.
So you'll prioritize the real Kenyan for you?
Well, every Kenyan who has land and can meet the requirements in the regulations will grow it, and we shall buy it from him.
Okay.
Galana Gulalu is there. We can start with 200,000 acres, because 200,000 acres can give us how many bags? We only need 500 bags of weed to put on ship and pay off the Chinese so that they can leave our country for what they have done here, for the mess they are doing in Africa. And I said it, Sri Lanka borrowed from China. The port was taken away 3 years ago. It's in turmoil today. Mozambique borrowed from China. Beira port was given as a collateral. Mozambique is following suit. Is going to be bankrupt very soon. It's almost bankrupt. Zambia, Lusaka International Airport is gone. Uganda, Entebbe Airport is gone. That's why Museveni had to go to Israel to get a rescue, kind of. And that's when he came in to grow it, to pay the Chinese. Where Chinese people have been, the places they have been has been rotten. Look at the transporters from the coast, for example. Men and women who owned transportation companies that employed 500,000 Kenyans, that's porters and drivers, to transport goods from Mombasa to the interior of Africa. This Kachuma came in, it was given a monopoly, those guys became bankrupt, their collateral was taken away. What is the point? That's where I come in, and I'm very bitter. Because why would you have a small railway from here to here, which is actually undermining the integrity of Kenyan businessmen, especially those in infrastructure, because the debt has to be paid anyway, and then we borrow every day. Why can't you close it, pay off, and then we can now build our own railway with our own specification from the weed? It's doable. That's my argument. People may call me crazy, so it be. But countries have now moved away from platonic farming, agricultural methods, and then now they are moved into the weed economy. If you look at countries like Canada, the dairy farming has increased tenfold because the cow feeds are actually made from weed, and milk production is so high. You look at the chicken, for example, they are fed on weed, weed whatsoever, and you get chicken coming up and being sold. I am not talking of smoking.
All right. So you're pushing for the legalization for export basis.
For export first, the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's export it. Let's come out of the debt. Then thereafter, whatever Kenyans will decide, we move out from there. We move on from there. But not for smoking.
But Wajackoya, I really have to ask the how, because definitely the message seems to be penetrating to Kenyans, especially what pundits say, that group of undecided voters that you're winning them over. But how exactly will you implement? That's why I was asking about the regulations, because even as we go to snake venom and we look at the benefits, global market for anti-venom drugs expected to reach $1.5 billion by 2027. That's a huge market to tap into. But how will you roll it out in a country where implementation is usually the issue? At policy level, we have it well on paper, but implementation is usually the issue.
This man is going to be the president in this country. And this man is not a joke. When Kagame inherited Rwanda, everything was upside down. You need a strong president, not like what our president has tried to do. That's Uhuru Kenyatta, and I respect him a lot. And then bureaucracy came in.
Calling it the Wajackoya effect.
Kidogo nasikia 1 million Wajackoya, 2 million.
Hey, he must be the most genius I've ever seen in my life.
Kwenye comment hapo nataka comment Wajackoya the 5th. Kwenye comment section, just give me Wajackoya the